Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, Gyle here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. I've got some ladder action coming your way this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and the good news is I don't need to waste your time with any strange little songs or news or tidbits of information about FAF or its client or its updates or anything like that, or any strange fictional stories about days at work. We can go straight to the action. Like I say, it's going to be a ladder match, and it's going to take place on Crag Dunes, because why the hell not? It's been an age since we featured that map. So let's go to the game zone now and see how these guys are going to get on. Now, for the benefit of our newer subscribers, we'll have a little bit of a chat about Crag Dunes in just a second after we've introduced our players. Over here in the red corner, we have Aro, Stefan D, and I'm assuming Aro is a gaming clan that's either new or just managed to evade my attention because I'm stupid. And last time we saw him, he was facing off against TA for Life on Loki. Did very well to emerge victorious from that one, but he definitely didn't have the Aro in front of his name there, so perhaps he could inform us what that's all about in the comment section below. Anyway, he's going Cybrin, and he's opening first land. And his opponent down here in the blue corner also going Cybrin, so it's a mirror matchup. It's Antwoord, and he's also going first land. We've seen this guy a few times in previous casts. Haven't cast him for a while though, I don't think, but he's definitely no fool when it comes to Supreme Commander, let me tell you. Anyway, Crag Dunes, for the benefit of my newer subscribers and basically anyone who's new to the game, because anyone who isn't new to the game has seen this map many times because it's been in the ladder rotation since the Earth was created. It's one of the core maps, that is for certain. And what's interesting about it, well, it's a small map, but usually on these kind of 5k maps you end up in the corner facing off at least the length or breadth of the map in some way, but you're actually starting pretty close to each other, and you're only divided by these two long dunes that have this, I was going to say canal, but kind of a canyon between them. And you've got some reclaim in there as well, and 4 mass points that are freely available if you can manage to hold on to them. But a feature, a tactic for this map, more often than not, is to send your ACU, of course, to one aperture and all of your units to spam in the other direction. And I think that's what we're seeing Antwoord certainly do for the moment. He seems to be taking a little bit more of an aggressive tack than Stefan, who has gone, by looks of things, 2 NG, 2 Mantis off the back, as opposed to 2 Mantis immediately and a mole from Antwoord. But that first Mantis, having selected the side that Stefan has gone with his ACU, is unlikely to see his next birthday. Boom, there he goes, and causing very little damage. Indeed, Stefan looks like he's going to snag the next 2 units as well. Another Mantis, the mole, gone down, so no real work achieved there from Antwoord. And it's definitely nice. Antwoord has moved out to this side with his ACU. I definitely like it when games on Crag Dunes progress in this manner. I always find the games where they pick different sides with their ACU seem to go on a little bit longer and seem to be a little bit more interesting, rather than getting an ACU that happens just on the one side. Haven't really done any casting on this map at all since, I guess it was maybe Rise of the Immortals Trophy, but saw some interesting matches there for certain. But over this way, a little bit of micro there from Antwoord, who's going to emerge victorious from this little Mantis skirmish. It's going to be close, but a reinforcing Mantis turns up at just the right time for Antwoord. Is going to finish that off and manage to snag that engineer as well. The question is, are these 2 Mantis going to hang around to finish off this mech? It doesn't look like it. They are more concerned about finding more engineers, which is going to be tough. The nearest engineers are all on this side of the map, and there is another Mantis and a mole kicking around as well. It looks like they are going to stop to take down this mech though, which I think is a good idea, or not. Oh, come on, don't let it survive. Boom, there it goes. Where are the next waypoints being set? They're going to go up round the back and could potentially grab another engineer. So cheeky little vanguard this from Antwoord, achieving some success, but Stefan's had quite enough of this business. He's going to take matters into his own hands with his ACU, march forward and say no to that engineer that was busy building an auto gun. That is not going to get completed, and Antwoord's also going to lose the 2 mexes in the aperture there. And you often see actually ACUs used quite heavily against their opponent's bases in this map, because of course they are very, very close to one another in the early to mid game. Such an advantage, of course, having all of that HP and that damage on the ACU that you do, so you want to use it as effectively as possible. So you often get in the early game ACUs getting pushed very, very far into enemy territory. See if Stefan decides to go that route. However, he has managed to finally catch up this little group of units that have been causing so many troubles for the last minute or so. Cancel production of that air factory up top with that single solitary engineer. Plonk that down there to get the adjacency bonus, and he had been building a air factory down there, so I think Stefan actually changed his mind and instead threw it down up here, probably recycled that, but that's rather a shame. That's going to hold him up in any potential air game. Having said that, Antwoord hasn't started production yet of an air factory. He has just queued it up. It's going down after that P-gen. There it goes. So he hasn't really lost out too badly, but it's a nasty, grisly looking group of units over in the west there for Stefan. Picks off an engineer that was going out that side, hopefully on his way pluckily to grab those mexes, but going to be successful on that run. And onward Stefan pushes. This is going to be absolutely crucial who wins this. He is getting bunched up on this hill, and it's not going to be good against these Medusa that are sitting further back here. You can really see the effects of these directional explosions now, the added debris. Not sure if the work has been completed on that yet, but it adds a nice little dimension of realism to the game, I think. That's all brand new work undertaken by Zepp, so well done to him. But over in the east, Antwoord just chilling with his ACU, not looking to be too aggressive at the moment, and it's a shame because he could definitely affect some pretty horrendous damage if he pushed up with all of these units now, and he's certainly going to get pushed on down here. He might be thinking of using these units defensively, though. I always feel like that's a bit of a mistake. If your opponent is pushing, why not push as well? If you have to go for a base trade, then so be it. But being indecisive like this is going to leave you low on map control, and you're going to end up yielding resources in the long run, I feel. And on Stefan pushes, there is an autogun being placed over here, western edge of Antwoord's base. That will discourage Stefan from pushing into the main base with his commander. That's a lot of units that Stefan has amassed down here. Autogun now has range on the comm, just taking a few pot shots at it, but Stefan recognizes the danger and backs out. And an engineer down here was trying to wall off this section, has been unsuccessful, hasn't got his build orders to complete that, and Antwoord recognizes, unfortunately it's going to be too late though, and Stefan promptly reclaims the wall sections. Answers on a postcard, guys. Does reclaiming wall sections actually net you any mass? I don't know if it does. Love to know though. But more autoguns being placed at the edge of the base, but I would be very worried if I were Antwoord about this potential area. The back door is wide open, and all of these power gens looking like they could be under threat, but a single solitary bomber doing some aggressive work there for Antwoord. Like he's affected too much damage. There is now an interceptor on his tail. Question is, can his own interceptor intercept that interceptor before it intercepts his bomber? Yes, I just came out with that. I think that's probably unlikely. Stefan's probably going to be able to knock out that bomber. He's emerged. It looked like he lost him there as they went off map. Indeed, there it goes. No real damage caused by that bomber, not really. But the longer this goes on, you've got to feel it's playing into Stefan's hands. Antwoord missed an opportunity to be aggressive with his ACU and these units on this side, and as such there is now a hardy looking group of troops in this area of the map now for Stefan, while a large ACU and backup shaped problem here Antwoord as Stefan marches into this base. There is now a transition though that's been made to T2. That land factory has produced a T2 engineer, and we have a Cerberus turret in place that will afford him some defensive capabilities, but still doesn't help the fact that hydrocarbon back here is under threat. These outlying mass points have been picked off, and you can see Stefan just creeping ahead in the mass game. He should be significantly further ahead, I think, than he currently is, but he hasn't been upgrading much core mass. He's been throwing everything he's got into T1. He hasn't got any tech yet that I can see. It's all base T1 at the moment. See if that tech deficit can get Antwoord back into this game. He's not doing too bad on mass. It did look like it was 27-26, and then suddenly it changes back to 23-31. How are they doing on reclaim? Antwoord has picked up 5.5k, 5,600 there or thereabouts to the 2,200. So Antwoord's been doing considerably better on the reclaim side of things. It's definitely going to help him stay in this, but will it be enough? There's a lot of units. Well, there are a lot of units on the field at the moment for Stefan. Lots of fronts being fought simultaneously. Down goes that radar, and Antwoord having to yield this section of the map now. ACU withdrawing, trying to throw together a land factory there. Didn't get past around 60 to 65% completion before he had to abandon it. And look at this, now just a tiny pocket of the map, really about a quarter of the map, if that, in Antwoord's possession, and he's still got this ACU wandering around behind enemy lines there from Stefan, causing all kinds of problems. Despite losing that hydrocarbon though, he's still looking decent on power. And Stefan not pulling as far ahead on mass as he would like. He's got an engineer out here that's busy picking up some of these mexes, but really needs to focus on upgrading, getting some tech, getting some eco on the field. Bombers still hovering around the map, occasionally from Antwoord. It's a nice switch up in unit diversity to help pick off some of these units. Of course, no Sky Slammers featuring in any of these so far, so they are safe from everything except potential red interceptors. Doesn't manage to get his bombs off there on that pass. But he has managed at least to clear out this area, but that's a nasty looking group of units, and it's got a single Medusa back here targeting this autogun. One more of those should take it out, and then once again there is a vulnerable flank on Antwoord's base. That's a lot of units. If he can muscle all these together and push on in, he could cause major damage. There are a couple of Cerberus turrets now in place in the middle of Antwoord's base, and another one going out in the western edge. This is looking very dangerous indeed. That autogun has fallen. I don't really know why Stefan isn't committing. I'd be concerned about potential Cerberus turrets, but another one has been thrown together very quickly indeed, and this is taking the majority of Antwoord's eco, I would think, to throw together all of these Cerberus turrets. But of course, in such close proximity, in such small areas, these bottlenecks, point defense creep can be incredibly powerful. But we do have a transition to T2 tech. We have a land factory HQ there for Stefan. What's he busy producing? It looks like Vipers for the moment, so he wants to use those to knock out these Cerberus turrets that keep springing up all over Antwoord's territory. Antwoord, conversely, instead is reducing rhinos. Wonder if that will turn things around at all. A heavy body of rhinos could be quite devastating right now. There isn't a lot on the field in terms of direct fire units, and if he's focusing on Vipers, the mobile missile launchers, he's not going to have a lot ready to combat them, but a lot of mass and energy still being funneled into static defense for Antwoord, who's now running at half the mass eco of his opponent, but double the power, which is quite interesting. Stefan having power issues, sort of net minus 120, 150. Needs to rectify that as soon as possible, and Antwoord has a little bit of a probe here, but he's going to lose heavily. I don't know what his intel is like. It's just not particularly good on this region of the map, and that's what affected that loss for him. And a tactical missile launcher being thrown together there from Stefan. That could be problems if Stefan starts losing what mass points he has. He's already way behind on the eco side of things. And we're going to throw an upgrade on his ACU as well. While he's down here, he's got 4 units of build capacity there to assist. Take a look at what he's building there in just a moment. Probably make pretty good sense to get the gun upgrade here, I should think. Stefan moving forward tentatively. Needs to be careful though, there's lots of Cerberus turrets around here. Of course, Hill's playing havoc with the point defense, as always. Now we see these Vipers finally coming into play. Not focusing in on these PDs right now. Focusing on the units instead. Now being switched up. There are zappers being placed. And this could actually work against Stefan. He's thrown a chunk of eco into that TAC missile launcher. And if he's forcing Antwoord to build zappers everywhere because of these Vipers, he's probably going to have some difficulties in snagging some of these mass points. You can see some core zappers in place already. That would have been a standard one though as part of Antwoord's build. I shouldn't think he'd been erecting them back here from mobile missile launchers around this area. But the point defense creep continues. So quite surprising to see at the 15-minute mark Antwoord still in this match despite facing such a significant economic deficit. And now the static TAC missile launcher opens up. It's going after some of the outlying T1 mexes. Happy little group of rhinos that Antwoord's now got. Moves them forward to take out a couple of mexes. Could run them down this channel, but if he runs into this group, I think he's going to meet his match. There are some rhinos and some hoplites in this group, coupled with large numbers of T1. But yet more Cerberus turrets creeping forward towards Stefan's side of the map. Zapper just about in range of some of these missiles that seem to be going after not exactly sure what. Looks like they're going after the engineers, but the Zapper is splitting the missiles and it's forcing them to miss overhead. The Cerberus turret does get completed, but the relief of the land just protecting some of those Mantis in the nook. And the Zapper not keeping up with the fire on that Cerberus turret, unlikely to be able to save it. Rhinos on the left here posturing. Gonna try and throw together a shield gen to protect it. Here comes a bomber as well. If you could take out the mobile missile launchers, that will afford him some breathing room. But suddenly, this is going to look like a nasty little region of the map here for Stefan. Antwoord has a shield gen. Another Cerberus turret being thrown together very quickly indeed. And you don't often see static tactics working quite this well in Subcom, but Crag Dune's one of those maps that encourages alternative styles of play by its very nature. Choke points. Vipers moving forward, going after the shield gen, but Rhinos come in to intercept as well as some of the Cerberus turrets. The laughable damage coming off those Cerberus turrets now. Bring back the old ones, I say. When I say old ones, I don't mean the old beam ones, I mean the old ones of this type, which still had the same damage. Off those Mantis scurry, yielding yet more land. How are these guys keeping up on the reclaim side of things? 4,300 for Stefan and 13.5k for Antwoord. So you wonder how he's managing to get back in this game, despite the fact that he's lost now 3 core mass points to this base TAC missile launcher. That is why. But a beautiful bombing run there from Antwoord, taking out what looks like the best part of about 10 units of build capacity. There is no anti-air whatsoever in this main base for Stefan. He's starting to produce bangers, which will deal with them nicely, but that is a heavy loss in terms of build capacity for Stefan. He won't be happy about that. Another bombing run going after this T2 shield gen. Shield gen? T2 power gen even. Zappa's just not able to keep up with the missiles coming in. Still Antwoord about 60% of the mass eco of his opponent, but look what he's managing to do. And for you newbies out there, you wonder how this is happening. It really is all about this reclaim figure. 14,000 mass to the 4,300. That's how he's managed to get back in this game. He's grabbed control of areas of the map with point defense creep, which has forced Stefan back. And the wreck field, the mass field that it's created, is just going straight into Antwoord's pockets. Stefan had enough of this little group on the western edge, advances forward with his ACU and discourages him from moving any further and grabbing any more territory. But I think it's fair to say we're looking at round about 55% map control now to Antwoord, something like that. There's not a lot in it, but because of this TAC missile launcher that's been very timely placed from Stefan, operating at T2 only in this core base and outlying all T1 pretty much, so he's not managing to get back on top of things despite the fact of being in control of more than half the map now. Antwoord 64 mass to 41 in favor of Stefan, but still having success on this side of the map now. Antwoord. Stefan comes in with a small group of units, mixtures of T1 and T2, but in range of these Cerberus turrets back here. Doesn't manage to repel that attack. More mass points now getting destroyed. You cannot believe this turnaround. Definitely mistakes being made over the course of this match by both players, but you can't help but be impressed with Antwoord's progress. It's a mistake for him not to push with his ACU in the early game. But he has definitely corrected that mistake in the last 10 minutes or so. And now rear T2 mexes getting threatened. And one more T2 mex gets taken out. That will actually be Antwoord taking the lead in terms of mass. But hello, Stefan has transition to T3 land, and loyalists now appear on the field. That is why we've been seeing less and less ground units appearing from Stefan's corners, because all of that mass and energy has been funneled into that upgrade. But still, the advance continues from all these rhinos. There's just too many of them. Oh, you want to take out that mex. You want to take it out so badly. 130 hit points. Oh my god, just breathe on it or something. Down it goes. And look at that, 47 mass to 59 in favor of Antwoord. However, he does face the prospect of T3, but he has Stefan on the ropes. He really needs to be pushing. He needs to take out these two mexes. He needs to be threatening this side. He needs to be threatening both sides simultaneously. That's a nasty looking group of loyalists, increasing in number. Has this prompted a reactionary upgrade? Yes, it has. 15% complete on that T3 upgrade for Antwoord. And he's actually accumulated quite a lot of mass. He was floating a decent amount there. That will help him with that upgrade dramatically, but units of build capacity here, T2 nonetheless for Antwoord, getting popped by these loyalists. That is a good move from Stefan. He needed to stop Antwoord from building any more defense on this map, let alone on his side of the central reservation. And a trebuchet in the mix. Trebuchet is incredibly dangerous, of course, or any T3 mobile RT, incredibly dangerous on crag dunes because you can reach the edges of your opponent's base if you nestle in up against the dune here, which looks like that's what he's doing. But a nice push here from Antwoord. He needs to take out these T2 P-Gens. If he can take them out, it's surely GG, but he's instead going for a run-by. I think that's a bit of a mistake. There are now bricks in play, but he is deciding to target these P-Gens instead. If he had gone straight after them, he would have taken them out, or at least taken one of them out. Oh, down into the red, 400 hit points, but he doesn't have enough punching power to complete it. And if he'd have timed that attack a little bit better with a push on the top, that surely would have been game. But this trebuchet is going to start causing problems now for Antwoord. Just don't want to throw away these units, Antwoord. You really don't. Bricks and loyalists on the field and this area. If you lose all of these units, that's your advantage effectively gone. And despite the fact that Stefan only inhabiting this tiny, tiny area of the map, he's still getting in 40 mass per tick. We now have T3 on the field for the blue team, and he needs to get a handle on this mobile artillery. Give you an idea how far it can reach. Probably would like to move it up a little bit more to get in range of some of these mexes and this factory. Certainly able to threaten a lot of the static defense, which has got Antwoord back into this game. These Cerberus turrets, no threat whatsoever to these bricks. I'm surprised he's not marching forward with more gusto. Down goes that engineer finally. Get the feeling this might not be over yet. Stefan looking like he was down and out a minute ago. Antwoord busy ecoing. He needs units more right now. Currently just producing T3 engineers out of that factory HQ, but he does have 3 standard factories, non-HQ, now up to T3, and is going after bricks in a big way. This is one of the strangest games of Crag Dunes I can remember for certain. A couple of T2 engineers around the back here. What are they after? It's an attack move, so they're on a reclaim mission. Can they actually reach that transport? That's the question. Not sure they can. One of them getting picked off at range there by a brick. A little bit of a flyby there from some interceptors, but they're getting immediately rinsed out of existence by these bangers hovering just the other side of the dune. And of course, still that TAC missile launcher in place, and Antwoord embarking on a mass scheme of zapper placement. Cyber TAC missiles, the most annoying TAC missiles of all, of course, with that ridiculous splitting thing they do. And bricks coming through the eastern aperture now from Stefan. There are a couple of bricks further back in defense there from Antwoord, but he's definitely going to lose all of these Cerberus turrets. Almost can't believe what I'm seeing here at this point. Very, very strange game indeed. And now Loyalists over the western side of the map. Looking through the aperture. A little bit of a run by. Need to deal with this Cerberus turret. But look at that. Stefan back into the lead on income. That is unreal. Actually, don't know how he's doing it. He has got core T3 in here. T2, T2, T2. Antwoord still working on his eco. Is that Stefan bottlenecking on power? Yes, it is. Why on earth? Because he's building a Monkey Lord. And that could be interesting. That could really turn this game around. But look at these bricks that have made their way up the eastern edge of the map for Antwoord. All of this might be moot. There's not a lot in this area for Stefan. Has Antwoord seen it? That's the question. He's got no intel at all on this area. If he continues to push, could cause some real problems. Wants to take out that T3 mechs. He does. Oh, he wants to see what's going on down here. He really needs it. But at the same time, there are now bricks on Antwoord's side of the map as well, and a trebuchet firing across. If he could land a trebuchet round in here and take out all this build capacity, Stefan would definitely be in a pretty pickle. It would take him forever to finish that Monkey Lord. But look at this, so much available mass on the map in terms of mass points. Neither guy able to hold on to these. But those bricks finally biting the dust up there for Antwoord, and still he hasn't seen this Monkey Lord in production. But look at this, Stefan, just 11 mass per tick. Gets to reclaiming these T3 mexes. And Antwoord really needs to scout that more than anyone has ever needed a scout in the history of this game. A few bombers coming over the top to kill these engineers will slow it down enough, surely. And he's got T2, perhaps just some gunships or something. There are a lot of bangers, of course, kicking around here. A few Corsairs, though, a couple of bombing runs do it very nicely indeed. He's too concerned about these Loyalists back here that aren't going to affect that much damage. And that Monkey Lord is over 75% complete now, well into the green. If it gets completed, I don't want to say it's GG, because that mass deficit is huge. But it's going to come down to how quickly Antwoord spots it. And of course the Monkey Lord with its stealth ability, can really sneak up on you, but these bricks seem to have caught out these loyalists. So finally, that will draw his attention away, hopefully. That's a large TAC missile battery that's been constructed. So a potential snipe on the cards, if he can get a read on that ACU. But that Monkey Lord is going to get completed, and that is an all-or-nothing play now for Stefan. He has to win with this Monkey Lord. If he doesn't, he is defeated. There's no doubt about it. He has no economy left whatsoever. See what the range is like on these trebuchets. Just not in range of anything important. They need to get down here, really. Or better yet, onto this side of things. But that Monkey Lord has been completed. How long till Antwoord can see it? That is the question. Look at things from his perspective. It's going to be this engineer that's going to get fired upon first. That dreaded sound. There it goes, and that might well have been too short for him to see anything. They both go at the same time. He must realize something is up, and now he will see for certain that there is a Monkey Lord in his midst. It's a lot of bricks, though, and don't forget, Monkey Lords are incredibly weak experimentals. They do a lot of damage, but they don't have a lot of hit points at all. Just 45,000 hit points. And Antwoord moving these around for shelter. Going to wait for the Monkey Lord to pass, try and get in behind it. You can see the HP fall off that Monkey Lord. Another couple of bricks incoming. It goes down into the yellow, takes a volley of trebuchet fire. And finally, the last of those bricks on the left-hand side get wiped out. And now those other bricks as well, but half the HP gone. 26 kills on the clock. What, if anything, is Stefan D doing now? I think he knows it's an all-or-nothing play. He's following up with a couple of bricks as well, 3 to be precise. Antwoord being very cagey with his ACU, but he needs to be careful. He wants to keep that close, but not too close. He might need the overcharge if he runs out of units. And still that Monkey Lord going around the back, and he knows he's got to be careful here. He can't just throw it away. Searching, hopefully, for the commander. Gonna snag a couple of extra land factories at the back. Down they go. Down goes a Mex. And the bricks on this side might have some success as well. Thank goodness for those core Cerberus turrets. And now the bricks come in and into the red. This could be game over for Stefan. Way down, 5,000, 4,000, but beautiful rank up in veterancy at the worst possible time, and Antwoord has to get on the move again. He needs to overcharge. That's all he's got left now. He needs to overcharge. He needs to get the Cerberus turrets back here, focusing on that Monkey Lord. Still, there are some bricks over on this side. I cannot believe that rank up. And down goes the T3 power gen. An overcharge. Is it even possible? No, it's not. He's got no power. He cannot overcharge. The Monkey Lord focuses in on Antwoord's commander. Oh my god, that's gotta be annoying. The GGs go out from Stefan, who was basically defeated. He hadn't even bothered to try and get his eco going. Look at this. No mexes being grabbed anywhere. It's not like he didn't have the build capacity. He knew that that was it. If he didn't win with that Monkey Lord, he was dead. Oh man. I feel so sorry for Antwoord, but well played, Stefan. What a game. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. As always, more to come from me in the future. In the meantime, stay well and stay safe. This is Gyle, signing out.